busy. Look at us on TV. We can
Jason, whenever you're
wave
ready.
at ourselves.
Recording in progress.
If you want to. Amuse yourself.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the January 17th Board of Selectmen meeting. Would you all join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a public comment. We have a representative from Pentucket. You would go to the podium and introduce yourself. And I asked the superintendent if he wanted to speak first, but he said no.
Okay, you'll have to help me with the microphone. So it says red is mute, so that means it's on, right? Because it's green?
Green is good.
Okay, green is good. All right, perfect. All right, thank you all so much for having me. I'm Lana DeRocher, a school committee member here for our town of Groveland. Thank you for having me. The purpose of me coming tonight is to help educate our town on a new role that we have come up with on behalf of the school committee. And again, that's to try to help improve efforts with our communication. So it's basically, we're kind of calling it a town liaison, school committee liaison position. Each town has a representative, but we also hope, again, with a lot of the communication that we're trying to put forward, again, to try to help us be all one and all speaking the same language, all trying to help communicate the same information, and certainly also help with taking questions and answers and helping people get educated out there with where we're at with our budget process. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any questions for me?
Not this time.
Oh, there will be at some point.
It's all right. It's still green, so I can ask. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And just make sure Rebecca has your contact information, because we'll certainly we're going to be using you quite a bit.
I certainly
Thank you.
will.
And you're going to be there on is it the 26th?
Actually, so our meeting that we're certainly looking for more participation and attendance is for next Tuesday on the 24th. So again, next Tuesday, so people will have some warning if they can attend. We'd love to see more people. And again, trying to help educate and get information out as quickly as we're getting it from the state and where we're at with our budget process.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And we did have another public comment. Tracy Guilford was supposed to be here. He had to work. He gave me a letter and he wanted me to read it. The year 2025 will mark the town of Groveland's 175th anniversary. I respectfully ask the Groveland Select Board to consider the appointment of the Groveland Activities Committee. The committee would be tasked to work on behalf of the board and the citizens of Groveland to plan events to honor the town's 175th anniversary. The committee would also be responsible to coordinate and communicate with the town groups, organizations, and citizens to encourage them to participate and to ensure that events planned do not interfere with established events like Groveland Days or the Pine Speedway reunion. I also ask the board to consider a warrant article for this year's town meeting to create a fund that citizens and businesses could deposit donations for the planned event. I would like to serve on the committee, respectively, Tracy Guilford. Now, at some point, we could probably schedule that as an agenda item and invite Tracy in to speak on that. And sounds like a worthwhile endeavor.
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Approval of the warrants, payroll warrant.
I'll make a motion to approve payroll warrant 2329 in the amount of $188,996.18.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent.
I'll make a motion to approve bill warrant 2329 in the amount of $455,197.50. which breaks down to the town of $113,486.48. Water and sewer, $243,617.40. Payroll withholding, $27,689.57. Light bills, $118,299.73. Grants and revolving, which is showing a negative $47,895.68 because $65,300 was reclassified to water and sewer to cover their backhoe expense, and the expense is $17,404.32.
Thank you.
Second?
Any discussion? None. All in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you, Jason. Approval of the minutes, December 5th, 2022, Board of Selectmen meeting minutes. And we have those and they've been revised.
So make a motion to accept the December 5th, 2022 Board of Selectmen meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, discussion, none, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Appointments of the board. Appointment of Maureen Lee Locke, the temporary outreach coordinator for the Council on Aging. The position is up to 14 hours a week at the rate of $17.87 an hour. And we have a letter of support from the Council on Aging Board. Chairman, Laurie Palant. Hi, Laurie. Did you want?
Laurel.
Laurel.
Did you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I thought Maureen was gonna be here. She said maybe she'd start at 7 o'clock.
I want you to go to the podium so we can hear you.
So Maureen has offered to, she is one of our temporary van or substitute van drivers. And she works Mondays and Tuesdays and does the van for whenever we need to. She has offered to be the interim outreach worker. We still have the position open. She needs a full-time job, but she said, I can do this in the meantime, and we've worked out hours. And the good thing is she's able to work Monday evening. So right now the pantry could be opened in the evening because the pantry is food available to anyone who lives in the town. It's not just seniors.
Mm-hmm.
So this way we can reach families as well. And she would be willing to, she'd work on a Monday, she would do the van. If there was nothing at the van, she'd kind of go and work in outreach and answer phones and that kind of thing. And the same thing on Tuesday, she would do it. So it's just an interim position that, depending on what happens, we're still looking for someone who would like it, full-time. Enough, it's not a full-time position, but, do that. So
Okay. Thank you.
that's it.
Is there a motion?
Your
Well,
question?
what date do you want this effective? Your
She
appointment?
would like to start.
Today?
Well, she only works Mondays and Tuesdays. We would have
Right,
loved
but
to have
it-
had it back. She's been just she is the van driver, so when she's not out doing the van,
Right.
she's playing around in the outreach office, getting acquainted with things, hoping
Just-
that this
you
would
need to
be.
make a motion with just today's day, would that work?
Today's
or do you
date?
need it to be another
Let's
day?
start on the effective, on the payroll period, so
I mean, she wouldn't be working this week because this is already Tuesday and she only works Mondays and Tuesdays. So, I mean, if you made it effective today, be on that payroll.
effective Friday the 20th.
Okay, so I'll make a motion effective, Friday, January 20th, 2023, to appoint Maureen Lealock as the temporary outreach coordinator for the Council on Aging. The position is up to 14 hours a week at a rate of $17.87 per hour.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Yes.
I say I've known Maureen for a long time, and she was really helpful to me when I was certifying to become a teacher because she used to work at the Department of Education, or now it's called something else now, right, DESE. So, but same location, same place, and she was very knowledgeable and helpful. So, I can't imagine anybody that would be better suited as outreach because she's so knowledgeable and personable.
And she as a van
Awesome.
driver, she just loves the seniors, and she said, I just love this. I love, I'm so glad I can do it. So this would be, then again, and she's had, experience with her own parents, getting them the care, finding the things, and we need someone that can kind of know the navigating through the
Right.
different,
It's wonderful.
Places,
We're
so-
really lucky to
and
have her.
she's so pleasant, so, thank
Yes.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? We have a motion, we have a second, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Discussion and possible vote, interview and appointment for the Board of Registrars. Candidates, Leah Crane, Rebecca Boucher, and Matt Gilroy, and we'll first hear from the town clerk.
Good evening and thank you. I reached out to the Board of Registrars back in 2021 asking if they had anyone on I reached out to the Democratic Committee back in 2021 asking them if they had anyone interested in being appointed to the Board of Registrars. I had a few communications with Inga at the time, and then it got dropped and she did not end up recommending anyone. There's been nobody in the seat for the Democratic representation since I started. We have 1 Republican member, 1 unenrolled, and then I'm also unenrolled. So we need a Democratic representative. So recently, when we talked about the vote by mail, Inger approached me again. We talked about it, and she put forward 3 candidates for the position. So the appointment to the Board of Registrars would be as of April 1st, 2023, and the term end date would be 6/30 of 2025, because that's the open spot. And when I read through some of the information, unfortunately, Matt Guillory would not be eligible. He'd have to be disqualified because he's currently the treasurer for the Democratic Committee, and you can't hold a chair, treasurer, or any of the seats on the committee and be on the Board of Registrars. So that just brings you down to 2 candidates.
Thank you.
Can you just repeat those dates again? April 1st, 2023 to when?
April 1st would be the appointment date,
Yes?
and then the term would expire on 6/30 of 2025. They're 3-year appointments.
Yep.
The
I read
open
that.
slot that we have is now open for 2025.
And you said that Lee Crane is disqualified?
No, I said that Matt,
Matt
Guillory?
Gilroy.
he's currently the treasurer.
Okay, and was this communicated to him before this meeting?
No, I just read through my stuff tonight and realized it, so.
Oh,
Any other questions for the town clerk?
well, I'm just concerned that we didn't inform one of the candidates that he'd
You're
been
only choosing one
disqualified.
candidate, so.
I know, but I mean, it's nice to let
Yes,
people
it would
know before we announce it that they've been disqualified. Not to laugh about it, but
Right.
it seems.
I know.
I know. Sometimes we're all playing catch up at the same time. So, assuming that that's correct, that he doesn't challenge that, I guess we should be able to move forward with the selection. But I don't see two people here tonight. I see 1 person. So
Did you want to get up and introduce yourself?
well, Mr. Chair, may I just ask, did anyone confirm with these candidates that they were going to come to this meeting to be interviewed?
Yes, they were supposedly notified. Rebecca, I think, had reached out. And they were here the last meeting, but,
I spoke to all 3 of them at the same time.
Well, looks like you're going to be it because you're here.
okay.
Pressure's on.
Go for it.
All right. Well, my name is Rebecca Boucher. I live at 765 Salem Street. I grew up in Groveland on Ashcroft Terrace. I did leave the state for a little bit, but came back to raise my son here. We both went through the school systems. I also work in Groveland, so I'm lucky enough I have an amazing commute to Chesterton, which is less than a half mile away from me. At that job, I'm a business systems analyst, so a lot of that work, the key functions involve project management, so a lot of it is collaboration, so I totally understand the value of collaborating effectively. And data analytics is the other huge part of my job. So the importance of data accuracy is important. You have bad data, you make bad decisions. So the reason I wanted to step up to this position was, one, I wanted to be more involved in my community. I think over the summer, for some reason, I had this push to do it, and I've learned a lot so far, so I'm excited to hopefully put my hat into something. I understand that elections need to be accurate, because I want to make sure the voices of Groveland are heard, all the voices. And I just want to be part of maintaining that election integrity. I think my background as a business systems analyst helps, because I know a lot of the registrar's work is maintaining lists. I live in Excel spreadsheets, so it would be second nature to me. And again, working with a group with a Republican and unenrolled, I'm used to that sort of collaboration. So, did you have any questions
Any
for me?
questions for Rebecca? Go
I
ahead.
just, you said you worked at Chesterton, I just wondered, do you have to travel as part of your job, or would you be able to be here for, pretty much for the elections?
Yeah, I work in IT, so I don't get the fun of doing
You don't
a lot
get
of
to go
travel.
anywhere.
Yeah, it's a lot of remote. We use Microsoft Teams for everything, so my travel is just virtual. Yeah.
It makes you perfect for this.
Right,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody? How long does it take you to walk to work?
11 minutes.
She's exact.
Slow walking.
13 in heels.
I wasn't expecting that as an answer. Mark, you got anything?
No,
No?
well, other than I'd be careful with high heels on Salem Street's sidewalk.
That's true. That's
Any
true.
trouble crossing the street?
Yes, because I live right at the end where that curve is, where it's supposed to be 25, but I guess it's a suggested 25. So yeah, it's risky, but I put my life on the line for it. So
Okay,
Okay.
and Leah isn't here tonight. We want to move forward with the appointment, your recommendation?
Rebecca, your pronunciation for your last name is
Bochet.
Bochet, thank you. So I'll make a motion to appoint Rebecca Bochet, effective April 1st, 2023, until June 30th, 2025, as a Democrat on the Board of Registrars.
The motion, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? None, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And next is review town administrator evaluation template, Selectman Castronellis. And I got a call from Selectman Dan McDonald, and he asked if we could table this. He wanted to weigh in on it, if we could bring that, table it till the next meeting. Yeah, he wanted to weigh in on it. And what's the
Yeah.
pleasure?
Well, we can certainly table it, it's just we have to get moving on it. So my other question for the board is, typically, the template, I think we have a copy of a fairly decent template. If everybody could just look it over and be prepared at the next meeting to make your changes and bring them forward, don't wait till the meeting. And the second thing is, I would think we would want to ask the town administrator to sort of summarize her, I hate to use the word accomplishments because that's so common, but the things that she has done in her first year here, which is a lot. It would be nice for us each to have a summary of the grants she's brought in, the budget deadlines that she's met, the certifications, the policies, etc. All the good stuff. None of the
I
bad.
didn't see the template.
How come didn't it come to all of us? Oh, just to me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get it out to Rebecca and she can get it.
Maybe we better table it,
Well, no, yes, we'll table it.
We'll
but-
entertain a motion to table.
Well, before we vote, because I can't talk after that, I know. Just, if I give it to Rebecca, then everybody will look it over and review it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I would hope so.
Yes. Thank you. Go ahead. Motion to table.
Motion to table, is there a second?
I'll second that, yeah.
Then a second. All in favor of tabling? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you. Request the Board of Assessors to evaluate the overlay and release excess. Rebecca?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Essentially, I was just hoping to get the Board of Selectmen to make an official request, so just a formal vote, requesting that the Board of Assessors evaluate the overlay and release excess so that we can add it to our revenue projections for the upcoming fiscal year, and we can ensure that what we're putting forward is a balanced budget.
Okay. So you need a vote from the board.
It would be a formality, yes.
We have a motion.
I make a motion to request the Board of Assessors to evaluate the overlay and release the excess.
Second. Motion and a second. Any other discussion? None, all in favor? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Next. Go to the board, nothing. Town administrator time. Rebecca, you're up.
I do not have anything.
You're not up. Selectmen's time and reports. Kathy, you have anything?
No, I haven't been to any meetings.
Jason?
Yes, I'd like to thank the highway department for all they've done to keep the roads as clear as possible during the recent snow and ice events. And I'd also like to thank them for picking up all the Christmas trees to get shredded, because that's a big service for the town residents.
Yes. Yeah, they did do a great job. They plowed, they sanded and salted, and a couple of our neighboring communities did not, and caused kind of havoc. So that, I echo that. Mark, you have anything?
Not at this time.
I don't have anything. Older unfinished business, I don't have anything there. Other items not reasonably anticipated at the time of posting.
Old and unfinished.
Excuse me?
Just two quick things. First, thank you to Rebecca for overseeing. They removed the fencing and everything from behind 4-6 Washington Street, and it's looking more like something that could be something than like a dump site. So that project now is hopefully going to move to the next phase, which will make it into some type of a recreational, maybe ice skating. There's a lot of good possibilities for it, but now it cleaned up nicely, so it looks, with a little bit of landscaping and removal of the fencing and the furniture that was dumped behind the fencing, it looks much, much better. So I appreciate that. And the second thing is I'm planning to go to the meeting on the 24th. I had copied for all of you, this was the letter that I had given to the superintendent and Greg LeBrecq, and just this evening I saw that he sent me a response that I really haven't gone through yet, but I'll be glad to share it with you all once I go through it in more depth. So I appreciate the meeting that I had with the superintendent and Greg LeBrecq. It was really helpful, it was very informative, and I really truly appreciate answers to the 18 questions. I know I was kind of going on a roll there, but there's just so many things that cropped up last year that I wasn't quite able to answer questions on or explain, and I just wanted to make sure that I had more than enough information to be able to explain to people where we end up and how we got there. So I will go through the responses and make copies of that too, but I just want to let you know that. So that's it for me on old business.
Okay. Other items not reasonably anticipated, you don't have anything?
Yes, I actually,
Well, you do.
yes, if it is possible, I thought that if we could kind of informally agree on a process for the hearing that we're going to have on the 30th. I'm sort of stealing from the template that I saw the school committee use when they had a hearing on the children wearing masks to school. They asked people in advance if they were going to speak to please send in their names. And if they didn't send in advance, they could put their name in when they got there, I think. And depending on the length of the list, they gave people like 3 to 5 minutes. And they did time people to make it fair. So I'm not sure how many people are going to Zoom in or show up to speak about the issue of mail-in ballots and early voting, but I want to make sure that we have a process that allows time for the people to speak. So I wasn't sure if there could be an informal agreement that we do ask people to at least sign a list when they get here, and when they Zoom, get their names down and kind of tie them down to 3 minutes, maybe give a warning and give them 2 more minutes. I have a sand timer if you want to use that. But I didn't think we should question people during that time, because otherwise it will take all night just to let everybody have their public's moment, you know what I mean? How do you all feel about that? Having a process?
It sounds like, we have public hearings in the past, and it sounds like it's basically, the same. We have a lot of public hearings, throughout the year, and it, seems like it's follows a reasonable process, but, not to hold anybody to it, but we could, and I don't think we need to vote on it, we can just.
No, I don't
It
think so.
needs to be something that's fluid.
Yes, depending on how many people want to speak, right? So, do you want to at least attempt to get a list as people show up if they're going to want to speak? So we know.
If that's necessary.
Well,
Because somebody may wanna respond to, something that a person has said that they, didn't intend to speak before, but now they wanna rebut or agree, with something that somebody had said, and I think that we should be able to allow them to do so.
I agree that somebody who's sitting there decides they want to speak, yes, but what I'm trying to ask is people that have already come with a planned, planning that they wish to speak would be given the first run through, without us questioning or debating to allow the maximum amount of people to comment. Isn't that the point of the hearing, for us to hear from as many people as want to speak?
I don't think we need to have the people, announce, or indicate that they wanna speak prior to the meeting. It seems to go along pretty good. Let everybody speak about it. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I am in a little bit of agreement with Ed, just because I anticipate people speaking, and then if somebody else was gonna say the same thing, they may drop off and not wanna speak because they're just gonna echo the same thing. So I think even if we do have a lot of people speaking, that we as a board will be more than willing to listen to them speak, and especially if they have something new to say.
Right, I agree with that. What I'm asking is the board going to ask questions of people, or are we going to let everybody have their say as we intended? Are we going to let everybody speak first before we talk?
Probably, that's probably a good idea.
I'll take a probably, thank
But
you.
we could certainly ask for, ask questions to an individual speaker. I don't think we should hold the questions, till the end. I think we should be able to ask questions to, an individual speaker, and let them clarify. So, I think that would work the best. But we could look at this and, it's basically the same thing we always do. And let the people talk.
It's not the same thing we always do, because you're talking about voter rights. So I anticipate that there might be quite a few people who have something to say. So I'm just saying that I think if the board has questions, we should write them down and hold them and let the people speak. That's my feeling.
Well, sometimes if you have a number of speakers,
Mhm.
if the first speaker, we'll say we have 8 speakers. If the first speaker, makes comments and we have questions for them, I don't think it would be right to wait till, everybody else speaks to ask that question, because it might get lost in the transition. So, it's best to ask the question and then get the response and then move on.
I thought the point of the hearing was to let the people speak. And my point is there's 5 of us here. And even if just 3 of us start asking questions of people, 12 people needing to speak will end up, to 10 o'clock at night. I'm just suggesting a process that would allow people the process to flow smoothly, and then the board enters into discussion and asks questions.
Anybody else?
Well, I agree with Kathy with the. No, I don't want to limit anybody with what they want to say, but I mean, we should probably give them, respectful 3-4 minutes, just to keep keep it going, because I don't want to hear a bunch of people just keep repeating everything all night long. And if we could just give them a few minutes and then answer the, if we have questions or whatever. But I do agree with that part of it. So
Yeah, they could be limited to 3 to 5 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes is a lot. You can say an awful lot in 5 minutes. I don't want to limit people's right to speak. But 3 minutes seems reasonable.
I just want to keep it moving on.
Yeah.
It's like candidates night. You got
Yeah.
3-4 minutes, whatever it was, and
It's like 5 minutes and they hold the
about
cards
30
up.
seconds. But,
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right. Correspondence. Pentucket Regional School District invitation to the joint meeting on January 24th at 6 p.m. And, thank you. And we also have correspondence from the fire department. They received funding for new equipment racks, and a grant. My department receives funding for new equipment racks, and there's pictures of it here.
Yep.
Anytime we can save money. Anybody else? Invitation, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn at 7:03
A
p.m.
motion to adjourn, Mark seconded. All in favor of adjournment? 4 in favor, 1 absent. Thanks, Mr. Brown.
I didn't have my hand up at the time.